All right. Welcome back, Fan in the Van podcast time on this lovely Wednesday evening. So we've had a couple of days to reflect as far as the Super Bowl here, and I got to call a lot of things into question. I'm not going to go with the conspiracy theory that because it was in Tampa, it's Brady, it was this, that, the third. What this comes down to is this. The officiating was one-sided. Tampa got a lot of favorable calls. One of it being on that Mike Evans pass interference where he barely even touched the guy. He was trying to dive to stop him if he caught the ball.
And number two is that ball was an uncatchable ball.
Then the holding call that they got on Gronk in the end zone where he barely held him.
He did.
And
when the Honey Badger intercepted it. And then after that,
and then the altercation with Brady and Honey Badger, and Brady was the one who went to him and said something.
Yep.
And then Honey Badger went back at him. Here comes the personal foul flag. But if you're a Kansas City Chief fan and you're going to sit here and tell me that's why you lost Super Bowl 55? No. That is, to me, it is bullshit. Because this is why you lost it. Yep. Case in point, you did not protect Patrick Mahomes at all.
Sorry with Derek Fisher being out.
Well,
yes.
Eric Fisher.
Shut up. Eric Fisher, man. I just got off from work, I'm tired.
So did I.
Oh, fuck you, too. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Alright, he took a beating. I'm not gonna lie. His receivers dropped a bunch of passes, including Travis Kelce. One of the last plays of the game hit him directly in the face mask in the end zone.
Well, that one was that was the one where he kind of went sideways, like he was like a cop diving to avoid a shot, but yet getting his shot off at the same time.
How the hell, dude?
But Mahomes makes those throws that no other quarterback would even risk. And when they're on target and catchable, you got to catch them. I'm not saying that they win that game because this was already a blowout.
Yeah, I know. But if they would have caught then you pass it earlier in the game, you know.
Todd Bowles had that defense ready to stop Mahomes, and they made Mahomes look human. And they stopped him from scoring a single touchdown. Yep. You don't win a Super Bowl by kicking field goals. Mm-hmm. Your defense was suspect at best, and I said it all year. And this is the other thing that needs to be said here and now. Okay? Mm-hmm. For everybody who, when they say, well, Ben did everything he could, and they shit on him and they say he choked. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, now here's Patrick Mahomes, who everybody respects. The kid's an amazing talent, and I respect him.
Amazing, yep.
But you can't sit there and say, "Well, he gave it everything he had," and then give him 2 thumbs up, and be fine with it. No, because if you're the same one who shits on Ben for it, you gotta shit on Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna be a knowledgeable sports fan and you're gonna shit on one, then shit on them all.
The key was, like a Miami Lion, they probably watched so much tape of Tyreek Hill.
That was that too.
Tyreek had nothing, bro.
He was non-existent.
He wasn't.
And the only other flag that Tampa got was the person. What was the unsportsmanlike when Winfield he chucked the deuce up at him. And as immature as it was to do,
especially
I gotta give.
That's funny. I got
it. I give the kid credit because he's like, you know what? You did it to me in week 12.
Yeah,
here's the fuck you to you now.
Yep.
I'm going to do it back to you. I give him credit for that, but let me tell you this. If they were on the street and he did that, Tyreek Hill's whooping his ass.
Yeah, Tyreek might need a stepladder whooping his ass.
Another interesting thing, speaking of quarterbacks, is you first heard the rumblings that people are calling up the Seahawks about Russell Wilson, right?
About Russell Wilson.
Now, you find out Russell isn't happy.
He's not.
And he's the most sacked quarterback out of his draft class. He's been sacked 100 times more, if I'm not mistaken, more than any quarterback that he was drafted with in that year's draft.
Even more than Carson Wentz?
Pretty much, yeah.
Holy shit.
And he said they need to get protection for me in Seattle. He's not saying he wants out. But if somebody calls with the right package...
he basically came out and said he doesn't know if he's on the trade block or not. That's what he told me.
Listen, if you're a team and you get a phone call from another team, and even though the guy's not on the trade block, but you get this interesting offer that makes you go, and you're not hanging up the phone, because if you have no intentions of trading him, if somebody calls, like, let's hypothetically say that the Giants call the Seahawks, and they're like, listen, we'll give you Daniel Jones, 2 first-round draft picks, a 3rd round, and let's say Evan Ingram. And in return, you're going to get Russell Wilson and 2 5th rounds.
No, I want DK Metcalf.
And you're not going to get Metcalf out of this. But you get the other tight end out. You get Drizzly out of it, or whatever his name is, right? Who has decent hands.
Who?
Who has decent hands.
Okay.
Drizzly, okay? If you're sitting there as the GM and you're listening to it,
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
It's not a matter of whether you do it or not. If you're the GM sitting there and you're entertaining it, that means you are thinking of doing it.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a GM who says he's not on the block and immediately calls and says, hey, you know, how about this offer for you? Nope. And
like David Gettleman, what he did to me by fucking Odell. Give him this big-ass contract. I'm running around the house happy as hell. Next day, he's Brown? Are you shitting me? Like, you know how bad I wanted to drive down and beat the shit out of him, dude?
But in that situation, I think it was just more Odell wanted his pay, so Gettleman gave it to him. And then whatever else happened after that is pretty much what happened.
Yeah, but you don't tell your fan base, be like, I just gave him a $100 million contract. Why would I trade him? It's word for word, end quote.
Because like every other GM, every other owner, every whatever in sports, they will just tell you what you want to hear. They blow smoke up your ass.
But do you understand what it would be like for Daniel Jones, Barkley, and then Beckham? Well, come on, man. Come on.
It would be a decent trio there, and then with Slayton.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And, you know, it would be. But listen, the Giants, in that situation, Gettleman was absolutely wrong. And it was.
And then Simon's going to take a 4-year shot. What the fuck?
If anything, you should have just not given him the contract. See, if I was a GM, this would be my response to everything. We're non-committal right now. We're non-committal. We're evaluating every scenario, every situation from the top player all the way down to the 5th practice squad kicker.
Yeah.
Okay? Because when you tell a fan base that, yeah, we're not trading this guy, then you give him an extension, then you trade him,
that killed me, dude.
You look like an idiot who can't do your job. You don't look competent. And how the Giants didn't fire Gettleman after that is beyond me.
I don't even want to still. This is the last chance I heard.
But
so,
on the other side of it now, with Houston and Deshaun Watson, they're standing firm on it. Now, the president resigned as of today.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I think this is all in part to keep Watson, as now they're going to try to find another president. Do they go? I don't know which route they go. Who really wants to be the president of that dysfunctional organization? But in speaking about minority coach candidates, okay, Bruce Arians is the prime example of this.
Oh yeah, he's
okay.
Whole entire
Bruce
staff.
Arians has the most diverse coaching staff, and you could say because a lot of them are former Steeler players like Byron Leftwich, Antoine Randall, okay, and then he's got female coaches on his staff as well. This is what I hate with the whole coaching search process, is that you can hire them before the Super Bowl. I think all coaching candidacies should be left vacant till after the Super Bowl, because Todd Bowles proved he deserves a second shot in the NFL as a head coach. Byron Leftwich proved that if you put him in the right system with the right quarterback, the right offense, the right defense, he will succeed. Antoine Randall proved that he can move on to maybe being a wide receiver coach somewhere else or being an offensive coordinator somewhere. I don't like the fact that you can hire these guys after the season ends, and then certain coaches, they can take interviews, but you can't hire them till they're either out of the playoffs, from what I understand, or if they're a coach that's in the Super Bowl, you technically can't announce it till after the fact. But now pretty much all the head coaching candidacies are filled up, which brings me to the Vikings. Gary Kubiak retired as the offensive coordinator, right? We all remember Kubiak. He was the coach, and he took over for Mike Shanahan in Denver. There would have been a perfect opportunity for somebody like Byron Leftwich to go and, okay, you know what, Bruce, thanks for the opportunity. Minnesota's offering me more money. I got to take it. Blah, 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 whatever.
Respect.
But this is where the nepotism comes into play within the NFL. Because Gary Kubiak's son was part of the coaching staff who takes over. Without even being interviewed, just hand it to him. Hey,
his son,
here you go. And speaking of sons, Brett Reed was given his administrative leave as of early this morning with the whole thing. Yeah, listen, I don't care if you had one drink, two drinks, and I am guilty of this to no end. I can tell you how many times I've gotten behind the wheel when I never should have been. But the Chiefs are showing you that even if you're the coach's son, you're not better than anybody else.
You're not. You're a human being. It's like everybody else. You
got to face the same consequences as as a regular person. If I ever got caught, knock on wood. But in this situation, the money ain't talking. Because he's gonna, if it's proven that he in fact was intoxicated when this whole incident occurred, he's gonna go to jail.
It would have came out already. Because your breathalyzer right then and there.
Well, no, because it was a whole accident, so they figured, well, they have, because he's hospitalized.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the hospital, so it ain't like he's going anywhere. So they can take their sweet time investigating it, because they got to figure out, how this occurred, and I'm not sure how all this occurred. I know something like a car was broken down on the side of the road, and this woman and her child went to help him out, and the child was in the car or something.
Bend and he hit him,
But, as far as that's concerned, the Chiefs at least showed you, you may be Andy Reid's son, but you're not better than anybody else. So if any Tom, Dick, and Harry who got into that accident, if that was me, there's no, we have to investigate this. It's slap the cuffs on. We're taking you to the hospital, but you're under arrest in the hospital. Yeah, and then you're going to jail.
Yep.
But getting off that topick because it's just such a depressing one, and it's a sad situation, and hopefully the little girl pulls through there. And a lot of people, somebody started a GoFundMe page. It's up to like $400,000 to start paying her hospital bills. So there's still some good people in the world. Surprisingly, I think we may have to. I might have to donate a little something.
I donate every month to St. Jude's shirt. I give the homeless people on the side money, man.
I don't give the homeless people money because they just want to buy crack and alcohol.
It doesn't matter to me because it's freezing out. Alcohol keeps them warm. You know what I'm saying? That's what.
So does the shelter and blankets.
Where's the shelter around here, huh?
Sure, there's one in the hood. You can find one. You find a trap house somewhere.
Knock on the door, like, yo, can I sleep for the night? $10.
Knock on a trap house, clean it up a little bit, weigh out the drugs, do whatever you got to do. But going back to the Super Bowl though for a minute, people are saying that now you have to talk about Tom Brady the way you talk about Michael Jordan, and to that I say no. I'm not taking Tom Brady's God-given abilities away from him at all.
He is a great quarterback. I give a great quarterback, great leader.
He has a quarterback IQ
of like
that higher than anybody in the league right now.
Yeah, he can read any defense. Okay. I know.
But need I remind all you Brady nut huggers that think he's the GOAT, that he's better than Montana? Let's just call this what it is. The same way people want to hug LeBron's nuts and say that he's the GOAT over Jordan. Again, it's two different eras of football. Joe Montana played in a league where friggin' taking the quarterback and suplexing him through the field was a legal hit.
It wasn't even like a face dance. It was like one little...
Now you can't even run past the quarterback without a flag. And if it's Tom Brady, forget about it. And if you whisper something to Tom Brady, he throws a tantrum. And I'm curious to see what was said. To Honey Badger, because Honey Badger said that Brady said something that wasn't so nice, and I'm curious to what it is.
I think I know what the Honey Badger said to him with the pointed finger. He goes, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do. That's what came out. But that shit was so one-sided. It was so disgusting, though.
But the pass interference calls where the ball is 10, 15 yards past the receiver, why even throw it? And
it's not
people could say it was the female official. It's them all around.
Yeah.
They all have to take accountability for the horrible officiating.
The female did pretty good officiating, but she was a little flat.
I heard people say it needs to be investigated because it was home field advantage for Tampa. Listen, Tampa. Let's just call this what it is. Tampa won the games they were supposed to win, right?
Yep.
I don't hear anybody saying they had a cupcake schedule.
No.
Okay. For a team that went 7-5 to start the year, gelled at the right time. Okay? Even with Brown, the supposed model citizen now.
And another thing, Brown comes in and plays 2 games against the rank. What the fuck's that about?
Well, he played more than 2 games. He was hurt for the last 2.
You know what I mean, though.
But that's what it is. He was signed at whatever week he was. He had the clear COVID protocol, and then...
Shit, you get signed week 17 with Super Bowl? Come on, man.
Hey, a lot of teams do it. It's like in baseball when you can sign guys before before whatever week of September it is, and they can make the playoff roster.
It's basically like
you can't
listen.
Second. You can't knock it. You can't knock it if it's allowed. You can't knock it.
Hey, Marshawn Lynch did that 2 years ago, but they didn't even go to Super Bowl. So
no, and the other thing with the Super Bowl that annoys me with Kansas City Chiefs fans is that they sit there, and I've seen a lot of them on Twitter use the officiating as the excuse. It's not. It's part. Don't get me wrong. It's part of it, and this is where T.J. Watt's going to tie into this.
Mm-hmm.
Holding calls were down 40.7%. You know what? So you know where the other percentage of it were? Not being called on T.J. Watt.
Exactly.
Okay. But everybody says boo to that. That's not a big thing. Okay. All right. That was down. This was the highest scoring league this year. The highest scoring touchdown season.
Total and your points.
In
right?
points.
Yep.
Out of every year in the NFL. I get the NFL wants to make it a higher scoring league. You know, pass happy. Oh, they want to see the 70-yard bomb. Oh, they want to see this. They want to see that. You know what I want to see? I want to see a football game that's evenly officiated. Without a BS call that it could have went either way, or you could have just said, let them play. And in the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, I'm saying it now.
You let them play.
You let them play. I can understand if it is the worst holding call ever, you know, egregious to the point where the guy's turning blue and you're choking him on a hold.
Okay, cool,
you got to call that. But if it's one where it's like, okay, he held him for like an eighth of a second, and then you're throwing a flag. You know, and this is where certain fans are saying it's rigged. And somebody even came out and said that a lot of it's already predetermined, like this is friggin' wrestling. There was I think, what was it, Larry Johnson of the Chiefs. He was a former running back of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
He came out and he said that the league is rigged and everybody knows who the Super Bowl champ is before the season even starts. I highly doubt that.
I highly doubt that.
Because how would you have gotten away with that for so long?
Giants did it. No, they did it though. They did it. They did it.
I'm sorry. I don't think it's rigged, but again, officiating does have an effect on certain games. Now, it didn't. To me, it doesn't have an effect on the Super Bowl because again, the Chiefs' offensive plan was flat.
Completely flat.
It was flat. You didn't have Eric Fisher. You had to have this makeshift offensive line. Mahomes came in there hobbled and hurt. And
especially no offensive line, they ain't gonna go.
And you already knew in the red zone, every time you knew it was going to go to Gronk, and you leave Gronk wide open.
Wide open.
And then you have those same Chiefs fans complaining about the officiating are the ones who, when you mention T.J. Watt, did say, what holding call? But then you wanted every call in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And even though we sat here and said Brady wouldn't win a seventh, deep down, everybody knew what the end result of this Super Bowl is going to be.
I really didn't.
I honestly didn't think. You knew this was going to end with Tampa winning. But you didn't know that it would end it would go the way it went.
I thought it would go out 3 points.
31-9. Yeah, that's what we call a bit of an ass whooping. And not only that, JPP, Seven Fingers, is undefeated in the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks to the New York Giants. Thanks to the New York Giants, baby.
And talk about a guy who blew his fingers off, then got into a car accident and broke his neck. And to come back and play at the caliber he's playing now, it's like he never blew his fingers off. It's like he never broke his neck.
He's playing better now than did in 2011 when Antonio Pierce and O.C. Unera. Dude, I don't know what I seen. The way I seen him play on Sunday.
Sometimes it's sometimes just a change of scenery will do it. It's different systems.
Dude, he was
just invigorate different players to do better. And then speaking of that, you got the Carson Wentz drama. You know how we talked about weeks ago how the plan was to fix Wentz, that they weren't going to trade him. But then you heard that Philly's not hanging up the phones when these calls are coming in. That now apparently the trade partner now is going to be the Bears, And the conflicting reports is Foles part of the deal where he goes back to Philly, or are Foles and Wentz going to be teammates again? And Trubisky, either way, Trubisky's part of this deal. He has to be. Because why are you going to trade Carson Wentz for Nick Foles? Wouldn't you just swap the two quarterbacks and then maybe swap first-round draft picks and call it a day?
So then, all right. So then Nick Foles goes back to the Eagles. Then Mr. Trubisky goes.
No, that's the thing. If you trade Nick Foles, and this is why I don't think Nick Foles is part of the deal. This is why I think it's Trubisky's going to go to Philly.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Is because
all that money. I got you.
Is because. Why would you have Trubisky there with Wentz and have the same situation technically you have now in Philly with Wentz and Hurts?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have these two battle out. Now Trubisky's be like, all right, you traded for this guy, and now I got to be, now I got to be the Carson Wentz to, in essence, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, if you trade Trubisky to the Eagles, Philly just upgraded.
Yeah.
And the Bears just downgraded because Philly...
You can't fix Carson Wentz, bro.
No, it's not that you can't. It's not that you can't. It's just I don't think anybody wants to. I don't think anybody wants to invest the time in doing it the way that Mike Tomlin's willing to invest in fixing Dwayne Haskins. Because why else would you have signed Haskins? Other than to some, it's just for quarterback depth.
Yeah, but to fix Haskins, he's a rookie. Carson Wentz been in the league since what, 16, 15?
Somewhere around there. And you could blame it on a lack of offensive line at times. To me, Carson Wentz's biggest mistakes
is getting out of the pocket.
Is part of the play calling. When he's scrambling out of the pocket, he just throws it anywhere.
He's not surveying.
And again, in one of the Browns games, he had a guy wide open.
And didn't see him.
No, he saw him, but threw it to this side of the field. And so, blah, 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 Taki over there, intercepts it and takes it to pay dirt for 70 yards. No, his last name's Taki. I forget his first name. Cute. And nor do I really care.
I don't think you care either.
Who cares? Plays for Cleveland, and Cleveland probably is going to release him anyway, so who really cares? And then speaking of that, now after the Super Bowl, Broncos going to release A.J. Bouye, which, if you're any team in the NFL, you have to take a flyer on.
You know what? The Giants, we need some help in the secondary, brother. So, Gettleman, if you're listening, watching, whatever the fuck, I know you're going to fuck with your draft. Please go get him, please.
Orlando Brown of the Ravens has expressed he only wants to play, I believe it's left tackle. Baltimore doesn't want him to play left tackle because Ronnie Stanley will be back, and that's Staley's position. So Orlando Brown wants a trade. Again, that's a guy you got to look at. With all the other 31 teams, these are two pieces. If you're looking to improve your defense and your offensive line, this is the way you go about it. Now, obviously, in the Orlando Brown situation, he built his stock up a bit. So you're going to have to pay a little bit for him. You're going to have to give up a little something to get the guy. AJ Bouye, probably a 1-year show-me deal with a team option for year 2. And even in the Seattle situation, I think if Seattle's offered the right price, they may move on from Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but then who's going to be the quarterback for the Seahawks?
Whoever they trade him to. Whoever they trade Russell Wilson to, a quarterback has to come back in place of Russell Wilson. Because they're not going to start Geno Smith in Seattle. If you start Geno Smith, you just took a 10-year step backwards.
That's what Pat McAdoo did. Pat McAdoo.
But again, how I said weeks ago, how everybody puts Breeze, Wilson, and Rodgers on these pedestals, and then when they choke or blow it in the big one, a lot of people don't shit on them the way they shit on Ben. Okay? So, when looking at the situation with Russell Wilson, part of it is that he's not always protected. So he has to constantly scramble, and he has to make a decision. And listen, being a quarterback it is the most important position.
And most hardest position, too.
It's the most important position on the offensive side of the ball. And it's one where you make a judgment decision on the fly. You either look great, or you get shit on by everybody from the media to your coaching staff to players around you to us, the fans.
Yeah, if you can't get that ball out in like less than 2 seconds, man.
But the other issue is, and it's the same thing, this is repetitive, but again, you got to jump to the Darno situation because now the Jets are fielding calls for him again. And somebody tweeted something Greg Giannotti from WFAN, and he had a great response to this. Somebody tweeted him, "You're better off just trading for you're better off just drafting a rookie quarterback and rebuilding from there." Which Giannotti's response was, "Yeah, how'd that work out for you? You've been doing that for 3 years, and it hasn't worked out with Darno." But my response to that is this: the reason why it's not working with Darno is, A, how many head coaches have been in and out since Darno? How many offensive coordinators have been in and out? And how many weapons have you really put around him?
No weapons, actually.
If you're a Jets fan who honestly thinks that having Le'Veon Bell there was going to impact that team
with no offensive line,
with no offensive line, you're an ass.
Well, Adam Gase was the coach, so there you go.
It doesn't matter who the coach was. Doesn't matter who the coach was.
I see that like 3 players.
Because if you're Joe Douglas, and because this guy in his tweet said you shouldn't go all in on Watson or even Russell Wilson and just draft either Fields or Zach Wilson or even Mac Jones or Trey Lance. Okay. My response to it is this. Ready? And I've been saying it and saying it and saying it, and I'm going to say it again. And I know my Uncle Joe will, hopefully he agrees with me what I'm about to say. And hopefully my buddy Rob agrees. Ready? It's as simple as this. If you're going to go offensive line, Penei Sewell. If you're going to go with a wide receiver, it's either Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, Waddle, or if you want to go tight end, Pitts, or whoever else.
I think I'm going to kill you.
Okay? Just saying. You don't need a quarterback when you already have one. You could say, yeah, he's made questionable throws, but again...
He had no weapons. He had nobody to throw to.
When you have no offensive weapons, don't give me Jamison Crowder, don't give me Ryan Griffith, don't give me Frank Gore, don't give me Brashard Perriman, don't give me Denzel Mims, don't give me none of that.
Well, this year Denzel Mims...
Don't give me none of that, because Denzel Mims still has a lot to prove in this league.
Yeah, he didn't really play last year,
okay.
But he'll be back this year.
You get Penei Sewell to complement Becton.
Then your second first round pick,
and then the second first round pick, you get
an O-line.
No, because you'll have already got that with the second pick.
Oh yeah, duh. You get a receiver.
So at this point now, when they have the 23rd pick, if this is projected correctly, the running back from Clemson, Travis Etienne, will be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's clamoring that Najee Harris is going to fall to Pittsburgh. Like, I don't believe it till I see it. But if he does, you already know where I'm going to be on Fanatics.com ordering a Najee Harris jersey. Just fucking saying. I'm doing it. Right then and there. I don't care if I have to max out every credit card to do it. I'm doing it. Okay? But with that pick, you take a running back then. Because you need a running back. Frank Gore has expressed that he wants to retire a 49er. He said he would love to put on the number 21 in a Niner jersey one last time. So he's telling you basically, I don't want to fucking play for the Jets.
Basically.
And even if he were to stay with the Jets, you're really using him as to spell whoever the other running backs are going to be. And interesting to that, and speaking of Gore, because you have to jump to Juju here.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So, fucking watch his face. John Clayton was on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh today. And he said the Raiders are expressing interest in signing Juju. The other day, some other moron came out and said that the Jets are interested in signing him. Well, yeah, he's a free agent. Of course, everybody's interested in signing him. I don't own a team and I want to sign him.
Word, I sign him too.
Okay? I'm about to go get Madden and sign him in that. All right? But then there was a post on Instagram.
By his mama.
No. It's a post he posted of himself at the gym. And it says, crafting, can't wait to see what 2021 brings me. So everybody's tweeting, everybody's commenting on it. And then his mom chimes in. She goes, don't worry, God has a plan for you. It will be revealed. And I'm telling you now, this is what's going to happen. Because if Le'Veon had listened to his mother, not saying I ever did, but then again, piece of shit. If if Le'Veon had listened to his mother and not his friggin'
goddamn agent,
and not his not so smart mathematical agent,
dumbass,
he'd still be a Steeler.
He would be.
So if I'm Juju, listen to your mother, because they haven't met yet, but Ben is going to restructure this deal. It's said, after the whole God has a plan for you, it'll be revealed soon, hashtag Steelers.
Yep,
okay? You could say, oh, you're jumping the gun here. Listen, Juju ain't going nowhere. And if he does, he does.
He's not, but he's not.
If he does, will a part of me be, I wouldn't say disappointed. I wouldn't say mad. I wouldn't even say disappointed.
Upset?
Because you have to realize.
It depends on what team he goes to.
No, because you have to realize this.
If he goes to the Browns.
If he goes to the Browns, I'm fucking done.
Yeah,
he goes to anywhere in the AFC North other than Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, I can't.
I'll tell you.
I can't.
I'll tell you.
I can't root for him.
I'm
not saying I wouldn't root for him to get hurt. I'm not saying that. But what I've learned over the course of 30 plus years of watching sports is eventually you can't have an attachment to players because they come and go more than one night stands. Okay? So, like, if he left and let's say he went to the Jets and reunites with Sam Darnold, good for you. He's going to go where whoever offers him the best deal for him. Because at the end of the day, he, you can come out in interviews and say you want to retire as a Steeler, you want to be a Steeler for life, or you want to be a Jet for life or a Giant for life. But what you fans don't grasp
money talks
is that this is a business, and these guys worry about themselves at the end of the day, which is fine. Which is fine because you have to, because Juju isn't one of those guys who makes all this money and then buys his friends' cars and houses. No, he took money
and bought his mama a house
and bought his family a new house.
When he rode his bike the first day to training camp, remember that?
A guy like James Conner, who finally had money, went and bought his dad a brand new truck.
After beating cancer.
He didn't go out and buy 16 mansions and then buy his boy some dope gold chain.
That 16 garages ran out of money, couldn't even buy a car for 16 garages. Now he's 16 empty garages.
All right.
What's the point?
But if you ask me now where Juju goes, he stays in Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh has one of the most hardcore, loyal, hardcore, loyal, mostly knowledgeable because some are still with the fire Tomlin, get rid of Ben, screw Connor, let Juju go.
They probably just started watching football then, all right?
We have the most hardcore, loyal fan base that anyone's ever seen. Okay? Top notch to, let's say, the Bills Mafia.
No, I think you got Green Bay as a big fan base.
They freaking eat cheese at the tailgate.
Hey, I love cheese.
Yeah, depending on what cheese it is. Because if it's like a Asiago or Lacey Swiss, put this guy in.
Fuck a Swiss. I hate that shit.
All right. How do you hate Swiss?
I don't know, but I think of mice and rats. I don't know why.
All right, you watched too much Tom and Jerry as a kid.
I did.
You definitely did. You know what, Mama Curtis? If you're watching, you shouldn't have let him watch Tom and Jerry all the time. But in the Juju thing though, and we discussed it a bit last night, and I said wherever he goes is where he's gonna go, and the more I thought about it today, as I was annoyed all day at some stuff that was going on, and I looked at and I still do have my Antonio Brown Funko thing that Melissa and Alyssa got me one year for Christmas as like a little stocking stuffer. I looked and I said, you know what? And speaking of Antonio Brown, because he's a free agent.
Yep.
And there was an article that came out, five free agents the Steelers need to consider bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
Brown tops the list. And where I was pissed, and I'll admit it, I was pissed of how the whole situation went.
Yeah, I know.
And then his actions off the field. But if he's this changed person, the way that Brady's making it out to seem and Arians is making it out to seem, and you can bring him back on the cheap, like in a 1 year, kind of like what he signed in Tampa. If you can replicate that type of deal, but maybe make the incentives a little bit more money.
I know, yep.
Okay? If you do that, and if you're a Steeler fan, and I said I would never bring him back and I would never welcome him back, and you can kind of say this is me kind of making a 360 about it, I would, but he has to understand this. Yes, we have to understand.
He's not
not the number one guy now. He, in essence, now is number 3.
Yeah, you get
because Juju, Claypool, then it would be Antonio Brown. And,
he has to earn that, yo.
And if you really, and the other person on the list is Le'Veon Bell.
Well, really?
Le'Veon Bell is the other one that you have to go and look at.
Yeah, he's not even being utilized. You guys can get him on dirt cheap too.
So, again, if you can get him to sign a deal the way he did in Kansas City,
yeah, you guys are
why not? And then that kind of alleviates having to draft a running back, because now here is in essence your running back. And I'm not saying in the first game Le'Veon Bell becomes the Le'Veon Bell of old. It's going to take a game or two. But
if there is an offseason,
well, this brings me to this now too. Well, at least in the state of New York right now, our lovely governor Blomo has now announced that arenas can hold 10% capacity. So you know what this means now. 2,000 people are allowed at Knick and Ranger games. Barclays Center, I believe, is the same thing for Nets games, and if the Islanders still even play there, who the hell knows where they're playing nowadays. Yankees, 10,000 plus, as of right now. All starting February 23rd.
Okay.
Just with testing. Mm-hmm. With testing, that's the key point.
Yeah, you gotta get tested on the way.
Testing. So hopefully, by the time you have training camp, and hopefully, we get to go because I want to go again.
Yo, be awesome, man. I'm still going. I love that city. I don't know why. I love that city.
You're gonna have fans again.
I can't wait, dude.
But what people have to understand is it's a slow process to do it. This is the start of it. As long as people don't screw it up, we'll be fine.
Yo, can Tom please get Odell out of fucking Cleveland?
Tomlin?
Please.
Well, if Cleveland releases him, you can get him on the cheap. But I think Cleveland, if Cleveland's smart here, and speaking of that, for all the weeks that it was said that after he got hurt, that could have possibly been his last game in Cleveland. If it was, you can't trade him. He holds no value now. He's for the better lack of terms, damaged goods right now.
Release this.
Okay? You will get nothing for him. If you're Cleveland, you will not get a single draft pick offer for him. You will not get a draft pick offer for him. No, you will not get anything, and I'll explain why. It's simple. This is not a what you have done for me in the past league. This is a what you can do for me now league. Everybody knows if Odell Beckham is in the right system and healthy all year,
the right quarterback,
the right offensive scheme, you already know 100 plus 1,500 receiving, 20 to 30 touchdowns. We already know this.
Mm-hmm.
But we know it with him going in. But it's once you step on the field, does he produce? See, in Cleveland, Cleveland to me, they made the right move in trading for him.
But they didn't utilize.
But it was everything after. It was everything after the fact. It was not utilizing him in the right offensive scheme. It was having an overhyped quarterback not knowing how to utilize all these dynamic threats that he has. The only two dynamic threats he knows how to utilize
is Jarvis Landry.
No, is Chubb and Hunt, because they run. That's it. All he has to do is this. Here.
Yeah, speaking of that first season, though, I think Jarvis Landry had the best year of his entire life.
Because everything was going to him. And
Beckham was triple teamed every time. And then decoy, and I hated that shit.
And then that's what annoys me when Brown was a Steeler and Juju had a great year. See, had Brown had just been that veteran wide receiver who was like, okay, I understand I'm getting double teamed, triple teamed, and this kid's stepping up in my place.
And we're winning games.
And we're winning, which is the main thing, and that's something that Antonio Brown hopefully has wiped from his memory at this point.
Yeah.
Is that it's a team sport. Because if he's going to come in there and be like, all right, you know what, well, me and Ben got this connection, so yeah, the ball goes to me all the time, you know what, then get the fuck out.
Well, I think how Eli Manning and Beckham worked. The ball with him every time. I don't know why. I think he was the only one he trusted.
And that's what they say about Breeze in New Orleans with
Michael Thomas.
With Michael Thomas, where if Michael Thomas isn't playing, he's afraid to throw the ball down the field because he doesn't have the trust with them that he does with Michael Thomas. And this is where, if you're a quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, you have to have a hand in having that quarterback trust the other receivers around you. See, Ben trusts throwing it to Washington. He trusts throwing it to Ebron and to Juju and
even after drop passes too,
and to Vance McDonald when he was there.
Just like when Johnson dropped a few passes. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he got taken out for the half.
Yeah.
Ben threw the
and he still went to him. Because and that's the other thing is something was discussed on Twitter about I forget what it was, but it was in essence about, well, if Ben had done this, he would have been considered a bad teammate. See, I don't get what it is where if one quarterback says something to a player, like if Tom Brady goes off on his wide receiver, oh, that's him being a mentor. But when Ben was doing it, it's a bad teammate. So how is it on one spectrum, Brady gets away with it, or Breeze gets away with it, Rodgers gets away with it, Wilson gets away with it, friggin' Mo, Larry, and Jack get away with it, and here's Ben doing it.
And he gets crucified.
And it's, oh, he's a bad teammate, he's an asshole, he's a jerk-off, he's this, he's that. No. Again, if you're going to take Ben Roethlisberger and hate on him for all the things he supposedly has done or said, but then the likes of Brady, Rodgers, even Eli, Peyton, and every other quarterback has done the same thing, and you anoint them a mentor for doing it? Nah. All you assholes got to come over here to Ben's side, and you got to get shit on the way Ben gets shit on. Right, Mr. Franco Harris? Correct.
Oh, Mr. Franco. Second best catch in history. Nice.
Bro, NFL Network voted it.
I don't care what NFL was. It's luck. It's skill.
That's skill.
That's fucking luck.
The skill.
He was right place, right time.
And speaking of that, this got brought up too as the Super Bowl was being played and as it was approaching. They have to hate on my man, Two Toes Santonio Holmes.
Oh, Two Toes.
Somebody finally had the balls to enhance the photo.
The 2 feet in?
So 1 foot was here, one foot was here, and both toes are down.
And so he's fully extended.
So for everybody who has said for years now, let's say I was Super Bowl 43, right? So for 12 years, everybody's saying that it wasn't a catch. Ha, it was a catch. Well, and the fact that, think about this too, because when you watch it, because NFL Network had it as one of the best Super Bowls ever.
Yeah, I was watching it. Yeah.
Okay. When they're interviewing everybody, he wasn't part of the play. It wasn't drawn up to go to him. Ben pretty much just said, fuck it, and let it rip.
The whole entire drive went to him.
You had to.
Well, except for that one pass that went right through his hands. Remember?
That was the play intended for him. The second one after that was not intended for him. Yep. I think if anything, it was supposed to go. It was supposed to go to Hines Ward or whoever.
That was like his fourth. It was like his fourth read or something. He's winged it.
Yeah.
But dude, he.
And that's when I said earlier, a quarterback gets crucified or praised for making an on-spot decision, and Ben just said, I don't know, something just came over me. I seen him. I said I could get this through this tight window, and he did it.
Yep.
And he did it. And Santonio Holmes caught it, and there was Super Bowl number 6.
Now, did Russell Wilson get crucified, not giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch that game?
Or they all did. They all did. Pete Carroll did.
I would have
Seahawks fans
right the fuck there, bro.
Seahawks fans definitely.
Beast mode,
they unmercifully crucified. I think they crucified Pete Carroll more because it was his call.
But
not Russell Wilson. And at the time, Russell Wilson didn't have that autonomy the way that Brady, Ben, Eli, Peyton, Aaron
he was still able to read the defense,
can audible a call. And if I'm Russell Wilson there, I honestly, even though I'm still new into the league at that time, I would have called the timeout and been like, Coach, why are we throwing it here? We got Marshawn Lynch. This game is as good as ours. That's like Randy Fichtner throwing a Hail Mary at the goal line.
He did it all year.
Friggin' Fichtner still calling Hail Mary. He's not even an offensive coordinator anymore.
I called one with a deck the other day, actually.
I think he had his friggin' wife throw him a Hail Mary from the produce aisle over to the dairy section at Stop and Shop. Who the hell knows? But again, you know, and we've discussed it at times where, and people say it's because you're a Steeler fan, you're always going to defend Ben. I defend him when he's right, and I'll crucify him when he's wrong. I'll shit on him when he makes a bad decision. And the one time and a few times where people go, you're really not going to bash him for this, and it's when Antonio was there, and it was against Jacksonville, and he threw it in triple coverage. I said, what do you want the guy to do when you have this diva wide receiver saying, you got to get me the ball? You have to get me the ball. So Ben said, all right, you want the ball? Here you go. You're in triple coverage? All right, here you go.
That was against...
But that's a bad teammate. That's a bad leader.
You guys got blown out like a couple years ago, right?
I don't know. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. All I remember is that Brown was throwing a fit on the sideline, and Blake Bortles looked like Johnny Unitas out there.
Yep.
That's all I remember. And then we're getting crucified, and then the Steeler organization and Steeler fans getting crucified because we didn't want to take the chance on Leonard Fournette. And now look, he's in Tampa, wins the Super Bowl. And again, if we went and signed Leonard Fournette. And again, Leonard Fournette for me is iffy because if he's healthy, he's good. But he always has, since senior year at Alabama, he is not Alabama, LSU. Yeah, I think LSU. Yeah, LSU. Took me a minute to remember it. Yeah, he played LSU. And he didn't even play that championship game fully healthy. He had an ankle injury. He's never really, to me, as far as I remember, never played fully healthy.
Well,
is he a dominant running back when he breaks through tackles and holes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but should we have taken the chance? Here's where it's a yeah and no, because if you took the chance and he tears his Achilles, Steel organization gets crucified.
No, dude, 1 year, whatever.
Yeah, but if he got hurt in that 1 year, let's say week 3, tears his Achilles, we get crucified for it.
Yeah, but I'm not saying give him both.
No, the point is that if we signed him and got hurt, doesn't matter what the contract is, and he got hurt, we're getting crucified forever for it. Or you signed him and then you couldn't protect him. That's the whole...
Well, Barkley tore his fucking shit off. I don't know how.
But who knows if Leonard Fournette would have worked out in Pittsburgh even if he did stay healthy. Because let's call it what it is. It used to be evenly balanced from run to pass.
Yep.
But over the years...
It became a passing league.
They've digressed from running and have become more pass-happy because they had an Antonio Brown, then they had Juju, and they had Santonio before them, and Hines Ward with Santonio.
Mm-hmm. And possibly.
And we had Burris for a while. And we had a blocking, catching tight end in Heath Miller, which, by the way, we still have not replaced. So I don't want to hear, even though I like Eric Ebron, he's not Heath Miller's replacement. It takes years to find somebody's legitimate replacement. Okay, I always thought that Zach Gentry coming out of Michigan would be that guy, but he can't stay healthy. He played one game out for the year.
Angry Runs.
Get rid of him,
bro. Oh, yeah, by the way, he caught that pass.
But
yeah.
But and then going into baseball, as we have a few minutes left, I got to address the Trevor Bauer situation here. Mets fans,
yeah, I know,
whining and crying and whining. Well, you signed with the Dodgers. Listen, I get the Mets offered him a good deal.
Basically similar.
Basically the same thing, but I think his only had one. I think the Met one only had one opt out. It was in the second year, and the money declines, which is fine. Yep. Where the Dodger one, it goes up, and he could opt out after years 1 and 2.
So obviously he takes that deal.
But Trevor Bauer came out and he said that there was never really a deal in place with the Mets apparently, and it was people who on his social media saying that and blah 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 and whatever it is, that he even offered an apology. To which I say this: why?
Why offer an apology?
Why offer an apology when this is a business? Okay, baseball, football, hockey, basketball, golf, NASCAR, freaking cricket, tennis. It's all a business. You don't owe the fans an apology. The only time you owe a fan an apology is when you've played like utter garbage. Okay? And even then, you barely get one.
I still haven't got my apology from fucking David Gettleman.
Oh, he's opening up your letter tomorrow. It just finally got there, you know, because with COVID and everything, even though that you sent the letter before COVID.
Yo, I didn't get no fucking emails from FedEx, man. It's bullshit.
They got lost in the mail, but don't worry, it fell between the seats, like Clark Griswold's bonus and Christmas vacation.
You're never gonna find that fat fuck.
No, he's opening it tomorrow. Don't worry.
You sure?
Yeah. All right. I'm not promising. Okay. I'm not promising.
I won't hold you to that.
All right, don't hold me to it. But, but again, Trevor Bauer didn't have to give anybody an apology. Trevor Bauer went to a situation that best fit Trevor Bauer.
Yep.
Okay, and now you hear, and you know, and then they went. The Mets signed Jonathan Villar. I think he plays second or shortstop.
I think shortstop.
Whichever one.
Like that, yeah.
Okay, you know, they're making the moves I told you they would make. They weren't going to be big splash ones, other than Lindor. They've made decent moves that are going to benefit them at least this season and next season. As far as Lindor, getting Villar, getting Carlos Carrasco in the deal with Lindor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now comes Justin Turner. Justin Turner, so far the Dodgers haven't contacted him. And even though the Mets are rumored to be interested in him, he really doesn't want to go back there. But if you're Justin Turner and nobody's making you an offer, and the Mets offer you a deal, and you want to play,
you take it.
Then take the deal. But if you don't think on the other side of it, the Yankees aren't sitting there going,
sitting back and patiently waiting.
You haven't talked to him. You're interested, but haven't offered him nothing yet. And
let's see what we can do.
And you're interested in him, but you haven't called him yet either. And even though we do have Gio Urshela, but we don't know if he's going to be back by opening day. Fuck it. Is it really going to hurt if we offer him like a 2-year, $20 million deal?
See what he
and
says.
He go and him and Cashman and Hal will probably sit there and look at each other, and Hal will have that clueless look on his face like he has at times, and he'll be like,
"Look it, let's do it.
2 years, $20 million.
Give it a shot.
Can we try for 2 years and $15 million?" And Cashman will be like, "I think 20 is going to get it done."
Well,
and 2 years, $20 million gets it done.
17.5, boom.
It gets it done. 2 years, $20 million gets it done. I don't like to do those half and whatever.
Hey, me in the middle, pimp it. All
right. 2 years, $20 million is what gets Justin Turner in pinstripes in the Bronx.
Who don't want to be in pinstripes in the Bronx?
You know, again, they have to get Gardner signed. There's still nothing done as far as that goes, but whatever.
I do not want to see Frazier playing left field at all. At all.
You might be seeing it.
At all.
You might be seeing it.
Dude,
who knows? Well, there's going to be spring training, so he's going to have the ample time to improve. And he didn't play. Listen, dude. It's like when the Mets had Daniel Murphy and he had nowhere to play because they literally kept moving him from left field to center field to right field to second base to third base. That he had no legitimate. How do you learn a position when you're constantly getting moved? The only upside to Daniel Murphy was that he could friggin' hit the shit out of a ball.
Yeah, but so can Clint Frazier.
Yeah, but if you give Clint Frazier one position that he could excel at, and it is left field, I wouldn't put him in right because you got Judge there.
Yeah, but all last year when Judge was hurt, he was playing right field, and he was horrible.
Not all the time.
Majority of time.
Not all the time. He made some catches you didn't think he was going to make. He had a few diving ones, so I'm like, why are you diving? And then he comes up with the ball. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but then the ones against the wall, he's running towards the wall. No one's going to go around the wall this way. Like
You don't know how the ball's going to carry him off the wall before it gets there. You don't know.
It depends on where
you don't know. It's all about gravitational pull and whatever other scientific fact you can think of.
Physics, man, up here, bro.
But in spring training, he's going to get taught all that. But you have to teach him left field and left field only. You can't do this like what they're doing with Miguel Andujar, where, okay, well, you're going to play third base, but then you're also going to play in the outfield. No. Have one guy play one and one play the other. That's it. And the only reason why Miguel Andujar is even in that position is because Gio Urshela played Miguel Andujar out of third base.
Yes.
Because of Miguel Andujar's injury.
Yeah.
I would trust Clint Frazier over Miguel Andujar in left field 7 days a week, twice on Sundays.
Yeah, me too.
That's how I would.
Yes. Okay.
That's what I would do. But, as it is winding down, though, thinking about doing a video Saturday, maybe a debate on China.
We have a few debates we can talk about.
As far as like maybe, no, like top, maybe
top 10 receivers of all time.
No, I'm thinking not top 10. I think to make it more interesting, top 5 wide receivers of like today,
of the era,
like of the 2000s.
Ooh.
But not a top 10, because top 10 would just you would have to really you could just
top,
literally throw anybody in there.
Or the top 5 quarterback receiver duos.
Could do that.
In a different segment.
We could do that. We could do that, and that one we'll probably do obviously an audio, record on this lovely camera here, and maybe go Facebook Live as long as it doesn't do that stupid nonsense, because I don't know where that came from. But the past few times it hasn't done it, so we've lucked out on that one. But till the next podcast and video, which you can find all the videos on YouTube, podcasts are on Spotify, Apple. There's even a new one, Bullhorn. Never heard of it, but hey, we're getting plays all over the world now. So literally from the United States to Canada, Zimbabwe. I didn't know people had cell phones in Zimbabwe, but they do. Indonesia, Ireland. Have yourself a proper 12 and listen to
Madagascar.
No. Madagascar might pop up. Who the hell knows?
Who knows?
But
Pumbaa.
I'm feeling like Prestige Worldwide.
Oh man, Prestige Worldwide.
But keep listening, keep viewing. Again, any questions? They're always, it's on the description of what the YouTube page is about. So, till the next podcast video, stay safe, mask up, and if you live in New York, and if you want to go to a Yankees game, buy us some tickets. Till then, peace. Stop recording.